So, what constitutes a healthy community? I believe it's residents having access to quality education, safe and healthy homes, having opportunities for employment, access to be able to perform physical activity, the opportunity to have proper nutrition, and also quality access to healthcare. So, some signs of good or poor health in a community would be access to their good living conditions, what sort of access they have to healthcare and education and employment, but by also looking at the data for the specific community of the percentages of prevalent diseases and disorders, that would give an idea of what things might be lacking within the community and what things need to be addressed if certain diseases or disorders are more prevalent than others. So I did this windshield survey on the community of Lincoln Park. It is located in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is where I'm from. This is not where I live. I don't really have a community, so I chose a community that was close to me and that I could perform this on. So this is a glimpse of Lincoln Park, the neighborhood itself. I did this over about a 20 block area, just in and throughout the neighborhood, different parts, different streets. I did not wish to get out and speak to the people because I did not want to intrude on people's privacy, and because of COVID-19, I didn't want to be around anyone who might have been social distancing for whatever reason. Most of the houses in the area are older buildings, and many are fairly run down and definitely need some work. As you can see here, these ones aren't as bad as most. These are some of the better houses. There are some that are newer. I went to school in this area, so it's pretty familiar to me. Here's just some more of the houses and buildings. I didn't really see a whole lot of people out and about in the neighborhood. I did see a few though. So for health resources, a main one is Lawnwood Regional Medical Center, which is this big hospital here. There is a ER here, very large hospital, very well known. This is only about 5 minutes away from the neighborhood of Lincoln Park, so it's very close. And there is a bunch of doctor's offices. This is an MRI, radiology, x-rays, etc. And then in this little cul-de-sac of areas, there's a bunch of different doctor's offices. There's family medical practices. There is a surgery center in here as well. There's a cancer treatment center. There are a couple gynecologist office, couple pediatricians. There is also an outpatient surgery rehab, physical therapy, occupational therapy, stuff like that. There's one of those doctor's offices in there as well. So a lot of health resources available right near the community itself. And like I said, only about 5 minutes away or so. Very nice area. So for education, there are a couple of schools in the area. This here is Lincoln Park Academy. It is a middle school and a high school, 6th through 12th grade. This is actually where I went to middle school. Very nice school in the same community as Lincoln Park, obviously because of the name. So this school here, this is Dan McCarty. It is a middle school and high school as well nearby. This here is Francis K. Sweet. It is a magnet school, a magnet elementary school. And here we have C.A. Moore. This is another small elementary school in the same area and neighborhood. not too far from the other two schools, actually. And so for recreation, there's quite a few parks and baseball fields and basketball courts, tennis courts like there is here in various parts of the neighborhood, and also not too far. There's a couple that are maybe about 5 minutes or so away. This is Lincoln Park Regional Park. This is another park in the area. This is Elks Park. This is a baseball, softball complex right by the neighborhood. This is quite a big complex. There's about 5 or 6 fields on that one. This is an activity resource center. This here is another park. This is actually Lawnwood Stadium. So here you have a track, a football field, stadiums, obviously. On the other side of the track, there's more softball and baseball fields as well. Full-size track, large area. And then coming up, it is also a baseball complex. So the complex consists of about approximately 8 full-size baseball fields that many local high schools and travel ball teams, everything that they participate in on those fields. This is also a part of the Lincoln Park recreational park. Now, in this area, there were lots and lots of areas for worship. Many different churches, all of different religions, primarily being Christian or Catholic. There were a couple of Islam worship centers, but there pretty much was a church on just about every block of this neighborhood. Wasn't able to record them all because there were so many of them. So here's another one. And this is one of the churches that I actually saw that had a parking lot full of people. This one is a church that was connected to that recreation center. And so with food, there's not a lot of dining in places. A lot of places are they look like to-go restaurants or kind of hole in the walls. There are about 3 sit-down restaurants that Uncle's, and then there are 2 different Mexican restaurants right nearby. There's one of them, La Taqueria, and then there is the other Mexican restaurant in the area. But there's mainly a lot of fast food options nearby. So some health concerns within this neighborhood. Main one that I really saw was there was a lot of garbage and trash kind of all over the place. Not a lot of upkeep within the neighborhood. I also saw quite a few, like the people I did see were outside on their front porches and they were smoking, so that's obviously a major health concern for the people in that neighborhood. So with that being said, that's obviously a factor that would impact health for the worse because it's not ideal living conditions and smoking can affect the lungs. But some things that make the health better in the community is there being quite a few options for doctor's offices and the hospital, and all of that is very close to the neighborhood itself, so there's a lot of opportunity to improve the health of the community.